used to think I was so old when I was a teenager, and I hear that someone's 47 years old. I'm like, gosh, I'm old. I guess I am old, but I feel young. I don't look young though.
Go ahead, Ashton.
Juwan, do you have any update on Isaiah?
Well, actually, he's day to day. He's getting better. There's been improvement in that area, but hopefully at some point he can heal quickly. You know, we truly need him and miss him.
Can you share like anything about his rehabbing over these last couple of weeks besides?
Well, I can't specifically share it because I haven't been with him during the rehab process. I've been more at practices and with the guys who have been practicing, but to my knowledge, after hearing from Alex, he has been improving during that rehab process, and right now still listed as day to day.
Yeah, Juwan, when were you made aware that Xavier was in a car crash? And if you can, just walk me through that a little bit.
Actually, I don't recall the date of when I was made aware of it, because I can't keep up with tomorrow, man. And yesterday we had practice, and I still don't know what day it is, but I know it's my birthday, February 7th. But overall, when I heard about the crash, it was he hit a pole, and then I just was worried about his safety, his health, because that's when you hear things like that, the first thing goes out is like my heart goes to the person who's involved in it and what is their stake, and praying to God that they didn't hurt themselves.
Juwan, going back to Isaiah, even if you haven't worked directly with him, you mentioned a couple weeks ago that he came to you to talk about how hard it's been. Do you feel like there's any added pressure now that the season's in February, or added kind of anxiety or emotions that go into rehabbing an injury?
Well, like I told Isaiah when he first got injured, it's a process. It's going to take some time to allow your body to heal, and you're going to hit a frustrating moment where at times you're going to feel like you're in a dark place alone. That's a time when I feel Isaiah needs to be more with his teammates, more around basketball, because at times you're going to feel isolated, you'll start feeling a little sad, and that can be a problem. It can be a frustrating moment. So he's handled it pretty good, but there are days when he are, at a dark place, and I've always tried to, of course, lift his spirits up by, saying my corny jokes or keeping him a little bit more involved with just being around us and asking him questions. And believe it or not, he asks me a lot of questions when it comes to the basketball and how we can improve in areas where he see, whether it's for the team or is regarding the player, certain actions that he see that, whether it's on the defensive side of the ball or offensive side of the ball. Be honest with you, I would say he's improved a lot when it comes to his IQ. He's become more of a coach.
So what does that add during a game from the bench, now that he's been there 9 games?
Well, I'm sorry, I'll let you finish your question.
Oh, well, now that he's been there 9 games, a couple of the guys kind of said that he was molding himself to still provide something from the bench. I was just wondering if that's something you've noticed.
Right, yeah, I have noticed. He's actually, suggested some things to me, but I see that he's always on the side of being another leader, a guy who, things that he recognized, that he see that is happening on the floor that a guy probably have missed, or if there's certain defensive assignments, or if there's a guy who's not doing their job, he's not afraid to speak up.
Yeah, Juwan, I'm going to go back to Xavier again. At what point, after you find out about the crash, do you decide to suspend him, and what team rule exactly did he violate?
Well, he violated our curfew, and that right there was something as he's aware of, as well as all his other teammates. Being out at that time of the evening is not acceptable, and we all have those type of rules that we have to abide by, and that was something I was not happy with at all whatsoever. So I felt that it was important that no matter who you are, if you're my best player, you're 15th player, that there are rules that you have to respect.
The fact that he was driving your AD's son, wife's car, what level of concern is that for you?
Actually, that's personal. That's not something that I think is where it's important for me to, say who car he should drive. That's more where Xavier, as well as the person who car is driving, that's a personal matter between those two individuals.
You can understand the optics of it though.
What opposite you're speaking
As
of?
far as like the starting point guard driving the car of the athletic director, it would seem a little bit.
To my knowledge, it's the athletic director's son. car.
Right, but it's owned by the family, so that's all. I'm just asking about the optics.
Does anybody have anything else?
So Xavier, from your perspective, the situation is done, or is there any more investigation by you or anyone else in the athletic department into?
Well, the suspension, as you know, he had a 1-game suspension, and he came back and played against Rutgers. So right now we moved on.
And then with Isaiah, I know last time you said you wanted to see him participate fully in a practice before he returned. Has he done that yet?
We're hoping he can practice today.
So he has, up until today, since his last injury, has he practiced?
We're hoping he can practice today.
Thank you.
Juwan, I know when we talked to you about Isaiah in the past, and you've brought up that you had a pretty healthy playing career, and you talk about the frustrations that he's had. I mean, has it been a struggle for you at times to try to keep his spirits up and relate to him, and when that's something maybe you never went through when you were in college?
Well, I've had been through an injury before. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I had a heart situation and a knee injury, so it would happen during the same time. And it was a very frustrating moment for me where I was playing for the Houston Rockets, and we were playing against the Golden State Warriors. A teammate fell back on my knee, I hyperextended it, and then during that time, as I was going through that healing process, I caught the flu, and then I had a little virus, and it caused a viral myocarditis to my heart, and I was out for like 4 to 6 months. And yeah, I remember how frustrating and how depressing it was to miss the playoffs and not to be out there to help our team. I was one of the starting forwards on the team, and so our goal was to win a championship that year. I played with Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady. Jeff Van Gundy was the coach, so I've experienced it before. So I think it was good that Isaiah been around a coach who has been through those situations, have experienced it, and I will help him through his process.
Brendan?
When you look at the transition defense in that first matchup, what are the key areas to kind of improve and do things a little differently this time around?
Yes, I'm going back and looking at the film, and we didn't do a really good job at all in our transition defense. Going back and looking at it, it was times where my stomach started to boil, started to break out in cold sweats. I don't have much hair, but I started pulling my hair out because there were times where we couldn't find our matchups. There were times where we were just jogging back. There were some turnovers that led to some of those transition buckets. There were miscommunication on losing sight of our man. There was moments where we were running close to our man and not finding the open guy. Our concept is this: in transition, with our transition defense, you don't guard a man, you find the open man. And I think at times we were looking for our guy, like the guy who I was guarding. Where is he? And that's where the mix-up happened.
In terms of trying to match up with Cassius, the kind of game of cat and mouse versus you said 2 guys at him or let him go one-on-one and try to account for everyone else. Just how difficult is he a guy to kind of weigh your damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of scenario?
Yeah, he's good. He's really good. He's one of the best college players in basketball. He's proved that last year, and this year he hasn't stopped at all. He's gotten better. He makes all coaches lose sleep at night, and I was one of those coaches, and I didn't get much sleep last night, worrying about not just Cassius, but, you know, the team. They're led by Cassius, but, you know, they're a really balanced team that's playing good basketball, well coached. So it's going to be a good matchup, but I'm happy that it's back here in Chrysler. We're playing in front of our home fans. I thought our last matchup, there were some good possessions where we played well defensively. There were some possessions offensively where we got open shots and we did not make them. I thought defensively there were some defensive breakdowns where whether it's pick and roll defense, allowing Cassius to score without handball contest, or losing sight of our man with back cuts, and then allowing too many open shots by the three-point shooters hurt us as well.
Noah?
Aside from Cassius, Tillman also was a big factor for them in that first game, and usually it is what you guys have to do to sort of contain him. How big a game, I guess, is this for Teskey and Austin Davis and those guys?
Well, in the Big Ten, you know, you're facing a lot of talented guys, and particularly bigs. Tillman is one. We faced Williams, Garza, Kura, and many others. So Tillman falls right in that same category as those guys I've mentioned. Mentioned Tillman name twice, let you know that I am focused on him. He's good, and he can shoot it from the outside and inside. Super crafty guy, and his athletic ability is not mentioned a lot, but he knows how to use his body extremely well, and he's great footwork for his size, and just knows how to score, knows how to play. It's going to be a really good matchup for us. But yes, John, Austin, you know, Colin, Brandon, Franz, they all will get a chance to guard him.
Zach?
You mentioned for you it's good to be back home. Past 3 home games, you guys have shot far below season average. Is there anything you're seeing, technique? I know you talked about confidence with shooting before. Anything beyond confidence that you're seeing?
Just mentally, we have to stay mentally tough through the times when we hit those stretches where we're not making shots. You know, don't allow it to become a compound mistake on the other end where you stop playing defense. You know, at times, you know, when a guy doesn't make a shot, you know, your head goes down, and each and every player have worked on shots that they normally make, and in games you see it fall, and then there are games when it doesn't happen. It can be frustrating because you care, and I know our guys do. My concept has always been in next play mentality. If you have the next open shot, take it. I don't want my guys to second guess it. I don't want them to start losing confidence within themselves, because I haven't lost confidence in our team.
And then just to clarify with Xavier's suspension, you mentioned it was 1 game for curfew. He was reinstated 5 days later on a Friday. Was there anything you were still looking at or evaluating? I believe on Monday you said you wanted to dig into it further and see more about the situation.
Yes, you know, that I wanted to find out what the police report has stated. Now that is out. At the time when it didn't come out quick enough, I was comfortable with the 1 game suspension, and I still live by that. And I felt that he understood that he made a mistake, and it's time to move on from it.
Justin?
Not trying to harp on it at all, but the fact that
You sure?
that he had misled police a couple of times about who was driving the car. I mean, those types of discussions with him about, is that the same types of conversations you've already had with him about and why he got the 1 game suspension? That he
We had some really good conversations, just the 2 of us, and we looked each other in the eye, and we both understand, you know, he understands where I'm coming from, and he understands the rules that are in place, and I support him, and we move on.
What about a learning experience for yourself as far as handling these types of situations?
Oh, definitely a learning experience for me. Yeah, this was my first time as the head coach of a big prestigious university like this, and I never had an experience like this happen before with a player. This was my first time dealing with it. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with it again.
Anybody have anything else? Okay, Coach.
All right.